Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my YouTube channel Diversity of Plants Zone. Before starting my today's video, I request you all to please subscribe my YouTube channel. Today's topic of my video is about introduction and classification system of de Jussieu. So let's start the video. First of all, I will discuss about the introduction. De Jussieu, the name of a French family which came into prominence towards the close of the 16th century and was known for a century and a half for the botanists it produced. The following are its more eminent members. I will discuss it one by one. First of all, I am going to discuss about the Antoine de Jussieu. Antoine de Jussieu, date of birth was 6 July 1686 and date of death was 22nd of April 1758. He was a French naturalist, botanist and a physician. The standard author abbreviation Ant-Jus is used to indicate this person as the author when citing a botanical name. Antoine de Jussieu, Antoine de Jussieu, Tila Botanica, Enigma, Botaniqua, Planchi Enigmi 1, as shown in the figure. Biography. It includes the date of birth. So he was born in 6 July 1686, Lyon. Dead in 22nd of April 1758 at the age of 71. Nationality France. So, the scientific career includes the fields like botany, natural history and medicine. Author abbreviation for botany is used as Ant-Jus. Life. Jussieu was born in Lyon, the son of Christophe de Jussieu or de Jussieu, an apothecary of some repute who published a Nouveau Traité de la Theriac, 1708. Antoine studied at the University of Montpellier and traveled with his brother Bernard through Spain, Portugal, and southern France. He went to Paris in 1708. Joseph Pétain de Ternifit, whom he succeeded at the Jardin du Roi. Roi is also called Ohoa in French language. Later, the Jardin des Plantes died in that year. He practiced medicine, chiefly devoting himself to the very poor. His teaching will be the subject of the posthumous publication in 1772 entitled Traité de Vertus des Plantes. His brother Bernard de Jussieu is better known. Second, I am going to discuss about the Bernard de Jussieu. Bernard de Jussieu, 17th August 1699 to 6th November 1777. He was a French naturalist. He was the younger brother of the Antoine de Jussieu. Bernard de Jussieu, as shown in the figure, he was also a botanist. Biography. Biography includes the date of birth. So he was born on 17th August 1699, Lyon, and died in 6th November 1777 at the age of 78. Nationality French. Scientific career includes the fields like the natural history. So I am now going to discuss about his life. Bernard de Jussieu was born in Lyon. He took a medical degree at Montpellier and began practice in 1720. But finding the work uncongenial, he gladly accepted his brother's invitation to Paris in 1722. So when he succeeded the Sebastian Vaillant, 1669 to 1722, as sub-demonstrator of plants in the Jardin des Plantes. In 1725, he brought out a new edition of Joseph Pétain de Ternifit's, which is also called the Histoire des Plantes qui naissent aux environs de Paris, 2 volumes, which was afterwards translated into English by the John Martin, the original work being incomplete. In the same year, he was admitted into French Academy of Sciences and communicated the several papers to that body. Next, I am going to discuss about the Pavillon de Jussieu. The Pavillon de Jussieu near the Grand Trianon, now occupied by the Palace of the Versailles Research Center, was not de Jussieu's house, but was probably his residence when he was hosted by the Claude and Antoine Richard, the gardeners-in-chief. Singularly modest and retiring, he published very little, but in 1759 he arranged the plants in the royal garden of the Grand Trianon in the Palace of the Versailles according to his own scheme of the classification. This arrangement is printed in his nephew Antoine Laurent de Jussieu's Genera Plantrum. Genera Plantrum was the book of his nephew and formed the basis of that work. So he cared little for the credit of enunciating new discoveries, so long as the facts were made public. On the death of his brother Antoine, he couldn't be induced to succeed him as professor of botany at the Jardin des Plantes, but he prevailed upon L.G. Lemonnier to assume the higher position. So he was elected as a foreign member of the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences in 1749. The standard botanical author abbreviation BJUS is applied to plants described by the de Jussieu. Next, I am going to discuss about the Joseph de Jussieu. Joseph de Jussieu, the date of birth was 3rd of September 1704 to 11th April 1779. He was a French botanist and explorer. He was the member of the Jussieu's family. He introduced the common garden heliotrope, which is also called the Heliotropium arborescens, to European gardeners. Joseph de Jussieu, this is the statue of the Joseph de Jussieu in Lyon, 1704 to 1779, as shown in the figure. Biography includes date of birth. He was born on the 3rd of September 1704 Lyon and death in 11th of April 1779 at the age of 74 in Paris. Scientific career includes the fields like the botany. Author abbreviation botany was used as the J. Jus. Life. He was born in Lyon and was the brother of the Bernard and Antoine de Jussieu. He accompanied Charles Marie de la Condamine, Louis Gordon, and Pierre Bouguer on a voyage to the South America in 1735, primarily to the Ecuador, with the main aim to make the astronomical sightings at the equator to help to establish the shape of the earth. He died in Paris at the age of 74. The standard author abbreviation J.Jus is used to indicate this person as the author when citing a botanical name. Next, the most important one, I am going to discuss about the Antoine Laurent de Jussieu. Antoine Laurent de Jussieu, he was born on the 12th of April 1748 and died in 17 September 1836. He was a French botanist, notable as the first to publish a natural classification of flowering plants. Much of his system remains in use today. So his classification was based on an extended unpublished work by his uncle, the botanist Carl Bernard de Jussieu. Antoine Laurent de Jussieu. Antoine Laurent de Jussieu, French botanist as shown in the figure. Biography includes the date of birth. So he was born on 12th of April 1748 in Lyon, France. Died on the 17th of September 1836 at the age of 88. Nationality France. Known for the classification of flowering plants. scientific career includes the fields like the botany, institutions, Jordan de plants, and author abbreviation. Botany includes Jus. Life. Jussieu was born in Lyon. He went to Paris to study the medicine, graduating in 1770. He was professor of botany at the Jardin des Plantes from 1770 to 1826. His son, Adrien-Henri, also became a botanist. Life. In his study of flowering plants, genre Plantron, 1789, Jussieu adopted a methodology based on the use of multiple characters to define the groups, an idea which was derived from the naturalist Michael Adanson. This was a significant improvement over the artificial system of Linnaeus, whose most popular work classified the plants into classes and orders based on the number of stamens and pistils. Jussieu did keep Linnaeus' binomial nomenclature, resulting in a work that was far-reaching in its impact. Many of the present-day plant families are still attributed to the Jussieu. Morton's 1981 History of Botanical Science counts 76 of Jussieu's families conserved in the ICBN versus just 11 for Linnaeus, for instance. In 1788, he was elected as a foreign member of the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences, so he was a member of the Masonic Lodge. Next, I am going to discuss about this French physician and botanist, Antoine de Jussieu. He was an important influential botanist in France at the time of French Revolution. So he developed the principles that served as the basis for a system of classifying plants for over 2 centuries. In fact, it was only in 1999 that a major revision to the system was proposed, and he helped to completely reorganize the Natural History Museum during his tenure there. Jussieu was born into a family of botanists, and 3 of his uncles, Antoine, Bernard, and Joseph, were respected botanists in pre-revolutionary France, and his son, Adrien-Henri, followed the family tradition in the first half of the 19th century. So at the age of 17, he traveled to Paris to live with his uncle Bernard while studying the medicine. However, he was appointed as a professor and demonstrator at the Jardins du Roi. Roi is also pronounced as Ahoa in French language, the Royal Gardens, in the 1770, and thereafter devoted himself to botany. He was named a botany professor at the University of Paris, remaining there until 1826, and he was elected to French Academy of Sciences based on a paper he published when he was just 25. In fact, his uncle Bernard had a significant impact on his own work, to the point that it is sometimes difficult to determine which man to credit for which discoveries. Part of this difficulty lies in the fact that some of the most important work was published before his uncle's death in 1777, and this is compounded by the fact that he was virtually the only person to transcribe and publish his uncle's work. However, it is likely that Antoine Laurent's most important contribution to botany, his classification scheme for plants, was entirely his work, although it follows from some of the work done by the Bernard before his death. In a nutshell, Antoine Laurent developed a system for classifying plants that proved much superior to the previous Linnaeus system. The chief innovation lay in assigning unequal values to various traits and characteristics used to determine the family affinities for the plants. That is, when comparing leaf shape, stem branchings, flower petal arrangements, and other morphological characters of plants, not all of these were equally considered or weighted when determining which plants were more closely related. So using this key, he was able to group plants into 3 main categories, which were further divided into 15 classes and over 100 families. Antoine Laurent began his classification system by examining only a small number of plants, expanding it gradually during his tenure at the Jardins du Roi. Roi is also called Ohoa in French language, and the University of Paris. By the end of his life, it had been accepted by even the British scientists, notoriously slow to accept new ideas from their political rivals, the French, and its use continues to this day. The system is not perfect and mistakes have been made. However, it was not until 1999 that a serious challenge was posed and based on DNA evidence rather than on the physical characteristics of plants. From this, we can infer that the systems worked quite well, indeed especially well, as it was developed during the time in which the mechanisms and process of the heredity, which includes the genes and DNA, were not known. Antoine Laurent retired from his teaching duties in 1826, a decade which is before his death. He published widely during his working career and even after the retirement continued working on a widely anticipated second edition of his most important book, which is also called Genera Plantarum. Unfortunately, he died after completing only a small part of his work, leaving his son, which is called Adrien-Henri, to publish those portions he had completed after his death. Publications. This is one of the most important publications of the Antoine Laurent de Jussieu, as shown in the figure, which is called Genera Plantarum. Jussieu, Antoine Laurent de 1789, Genera Plantarum, Secundum Ordens, Naturalis, Disposita Juxta Methodum, in Hortorigio, Parisiense Exeratum, as shown in the figure. Memorials, monuments and statues. Bust of the Antoine Laurent de Jussieu by the David Dangers or D. Angers, 1837, as shown in the figure. Medals and awards. Medallion of Jussieu by the David D. Angers or Dangers, as shown in the figure. Next is the most important topic, classification system of de Jussieu, and this system was proposed by the Bernard de Jussieu and Laurent de Jussieu. So they introduced natural classification system. They divided plants into 100 orders and 15 classes. They recognized the difference between monocotyledons and the dicotyledons. They separated cryptograms, non-seed producing from seed producing plants, and they divided plants into 3 main groups. First group was acotyledons, it means they are non-seed producing plants, and the second group was monocotyledons, it means they have only a single cotyledon. Third was dicotyledon, it means they have 2 cotyledons. So, Augustin Prime de Candolle improved the Jussieu system. He divided the plants into 213 orders and he used the morphological characters to differentiate between these orders. De Jussieu, 1699 to 1777, he was a French contemporary of Linnaeus. He didn't publish his results, but his nephew, Antoine Laurent de Jussieu, 1748 to 1836, he published his uncle's plan along with his own in the Genera Plantarum, Secundum Ordens, Naturalis, Disposita, 1789. His natural classification included 100 orders and mostly recognized his family, classified in 15 classes as follows. So first is acotyledons. It means cotyledons are absent. Cryptograms and some aquatic flowering plants are included in it. Second is monocotyledons. It means their stamens are hypogynous. Third is monocotyledon stamens paragynous. Monocotyledon stamens epigynous. Dicotyledons apetally, stamens epigynous. Dicotyledons apetally, stamens paragynous. Dicotyledons monopetally, stamens hypogynous. Dicotyledons monopetally, corolla hypogynous. Dicotyledons monopetally, corolla paragynous. Dicotyledons monopetally, corolla epigynous, anthers united. Dicotyledons monopetally, corolla epigynous, and anthers are distinct. Dicotyledons polypetally, stamens epigynous. Dicotyledons polypetally, stamens hypogynous. Dicotyledons polypetally, stamens perigynous. Declines irregularis, gymnosperms, Urticaceae, and euphorbias. Next I am going to discuss about the Adrien-Henri de Jussieu. Adrien-Henri de Jussieu, 23rd December 1797 to 29 June 1853, he was also French botanist as shown in the figure. Life. Born in Paris as the son of botanist Antoine de Jussieu, so he received the degree of Doctor of Medicine in the 1824 with a treatise of the plant family Euphorbiaceae. So when his father retired in the 1826, he succeeded him at the Jardin des Plantes. In 1845, he became a professor of organography of plants. He was also the president of the French Academy of Sciences, and de Jussieu was elected as a foreign honorary member of American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 1815. So his main publications were the Cours élémentaire de botanique, Paris, and the Biographie botanique, Paris, 1846, as well as the several monographs, most notably the one on the family of the Malpighiaceae. In botanical references, he is usually abbreviated as the Adrjus, also sometimes Ajus, as his father already has the abbreviation of Jus. The asteroid 9470 Jussieu was named in honor of the de Jussieu's family. The standard author abbreviation Ajus is used to indicate this person as the author when citing a botanical name. Next I am going to discuss about the Laurent-Pierre de Jussieu. Laurent-Pierre de Jussieu, 1792 to 1866, miscellaneous writer, nephew of Antoine Laurent. He was born at the Villeurbanne on the 7th of February 1792. His Simon de Nantua, Oli, Merchant Foreign, 1818, reached 15 editions and was translated into 7 languages. He also wrote the Simplices Notions de Physique et d'Histoire Naturelle, 1857, and a few geological papers. He died at the Passy on 23rd of February 1866. The last one I am going to discuss is the Alexis de Jussieu. Alexis de Jussieu, 1802 to 1865. He was advocate and brother of the Laurent-Pierre. He was born on the 17th of August on 1802. So he was the editor of the Courrier Français. So he died at the Beauharnais on the 25th of October 1865. If you like my video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching and thanks for your time and appreciation.